Deli with the sauce.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Deli G, back in the studio, back in the lab, back in the home office once again for episode 11 of the Deli G Show. Guys, since the last time I uploaded, so much has happened in the last couple weeks. And I mean, since this is primarily a pro wrestling based sports talk show that I primarily talk about, obviously I got to lead off with the death of Hulk Hogan. I know a lot of people have already talked about this already, but I figured I'd chime in since in the last episode you guys found out about my journey to pro wrestling fandom and how I became a fan and all that stuff. So it's only fitting that on this episode, with what happened, I would start off with giving my thoughts on the whole situation. Just because if you guys watched the last episode, you guys would know that I didn't really get full on into pro wrestling until probably like 98, 99, somewhere in around there, at the start of the Attitude Era. Some of those guys like Austin, Mankind, Taker, Kane, The Rock, they already been established, but I think that was going into like full-fledged Attitude Era mode. So I mean, I grew up in the Dominican Republic, so I didn't get to watch a whole lot of professional wrestling. I mean, I probably knew more about like Ultimate Warrior through the action figures and stuff than Hulk Hogan. But once I got into professional wrestling full out, I did look into it, and Hogan was forming the NWO also. So I kind of knew about the guy and him and Andre the Giant and stuff like that, but I don't know, I guess I didn't really get to appreciate him like some folks out there talking about like they cried over the death of this guy, grown men crying over the death of a professional wrestler. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's because like he didn't have that much of an impact on my life. Maybe if like Austin passes away or something like that for me, maybe. I doubt it. I don't know how I feel about that. But that's that. Stone Cold is like one of those guys in pro wrestling that really influenced me, and Dwayne too, before he turned himself into the roided up airhead that he is now. So we'll see what happens when we get to that point. But you gotta say, whether you watched Hogan or you're into him or not, you gotta respect that guy for teaming up with Vince and basically becoming arguably the biggest draw in the history of professional wrestling. And everybody that's still in the business that has shared like their thoughts and condolences and whatnot, they said the same thing. They all, whether you like him or not, you got to respect the guy for what he did. Like he and Vince Jr. basically like elevated professional wrestling. So that was like basically they helped create a new boom for the 80s. And 84 was a good year for Hogan and for myself, obviously. I'm born in 84, so that was a good year for myself and Hogan. So yeah, I mean, being a kid born in 84, I didn't really get much, and in the Dominican Republic, didn't really get much exposure to Hogan. It wasn't until I moved to Canada, until that I got into professional wrestling full out. And at that point, we were in the midst of the Attitude Era, the next glory days after Hogan's run. But the other tragic death that happened, this one probably impacts me more than Hogan, man, was our dear old friend Ozzy Osbourne. May he rest in peace. Because, and the reason I say that even as big of a fan as I am of professional wrestling, I listen to a lot more Ozzy songs than I ever watched Hogan matches. I'll tell you that much, over and over and over. And actually, think the day after his passing, I played one of the songs for my kids on YouTube after, to honor his legacy and his passing. That one really sucked. They actually just had the procession through his hometown. I believe it was yesterday or the day before. I'm filming on July 31st, so I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but yeah. And you got to see like Jack and Kelly and Sharon all there, and Sharon was all choked up, understandably so. Yeah, it's really sad. So, Ozzy, rest in peace, brother. You impacted a lot of lives through your music, and not just that. Like, it's not even just the music. Like, I was a fan of everything the guy was in, whether it was Lil Nicky or Ozfest or appearing on WWF at the time television. Even that lame Osbourne's reality show was mildly entertaining because most of the time, he would just be on the show and just yelling, "Shannon!" So I don't know. To me, that was really funny. So yeah, everything that guy did and put his heart into was entertaining, and you got to give it up to the guy for that. Multi-platinum, global selling artist. He could go in the Hall of Fame for himself as a solo artist and Black Sabbath too. Should be a 2-time rock and roll Hall of Famer. So may he rest in peace, and I hope he's in a good spot wherever his spirit lies now. And guys, we're gonna move on here to talk about what's going on with these Toronto Blue Jays right now. They're going crazy. And today, I just learned that they just acquired All-Star and Cy Young winner Shane Bieber for a possible deep playoff run. We'll see. I'm just praying, guys, please, one playoff game, one playoff win under the Shatkins administration, and then I'll believe that what's going on here is for real. And no wild card tomfoolery either. I want them to either get an actual playoff spot or win the division. This wild card nonsense needs to stop. This team needs to establish a firm position that they're not to be trifled with in the standings. So let's get it, guys. I'm treading this. I've been saying this on Facebook and all over social media. I'm treading this with cautious optimism because, as far as I'm concerned, until we get to the playoffs and they win one game, they haven't proved anything to me yet. We've been down this road. We have seen winning teams that get into the playoffs under the Shatkins administration and do jack all of nothing. So we'll see what happens when we get to October, guys. We're still like in late July. Let's see what happens. But I keep it rolling, guys. Keep it rolling. Prove all the haters wrong. Use whatever anybody says as fuel and motivation to keep going, especially now that you guys are getting help. I'm glad the Shatkins administration is finally adding to this team and adding quality pieces, not just bargain basement, veteran minimum contract players who are already washed up. We don't need that. We need impact players that can still contribute and are close to their prime. That's what that team needs. So good job on Shane Bieber, but there's still work to do. Every day you gotta come in and work, because you got to make sure that you win that division clean. You don't want to be one of these teams that has like a 10-game lead and then freaking blows it in late September. You don't want to be one of those teams. Lock it down, win the division, and then let's try and get one playoff game win in the Shatkins administration. That'd be great. What else did I want to talk about, guys? Oh yeah, the other thing I wanted to talk about was the Drew McIntyre situation, where they wouldn't let him back into the States for a couple days because he didn't have his American passport, and I guess with Trump being extra cautious of, people who are trying to tear him down publicly. They told him, well, you can either produce your American passport or, you're going to have to stay here because we're not going to let you in with your British passport. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. And then homie even told him at customs, like, I know you, I love you, me and my wife watch you on TV, but I have a job to do and I've been instructed not to let people in without American passports. Oh my goodness. Just crazy. I mean, like TKO is a big corporation. As of July 31st, they did get him back in because the Mike Mizanin, the Miz, offered to step in his place for the celebrity match with Jelly Fat, and Drew came back and was like, no, we're good. We don't need a jobber to step into this pay-per-view match. Oh man, yeah, Drew's awesome. Yeah, that was pretty comical. I mean, I knew that it wouldn't last long. Him being stuck there, with who he is and the big arse corporation that's behind him. So glad he's back on American soil, I guess, if you want to look at it that way, and glad that he's back in the match. We'll see how that goes at SummerSlam, the next big event for WWE. I know the card is okay, but it's SummerSlam. The majority of people are out on vacation or doing stuff outside, so I'm sure it'll be a packed house still and sold out, because usually all these big events, because if it's an outdoor stadium show in the summer, which it usually is, people want to go to that. It's still outdoors. So, well, guys, don't think there's any more that I want to touch on here in terms of big stuff that happened since we last talked. Well, guys, I think that might just be it for me. I wanted to touch on those things. Oh, and of course, you guys can always make sure to check out those Hot Wheels videos from my library. I'll be posting links in the description. As always, need this finger. Like, subscribe, share. There it is right there. Like, subscribe, share. We'll be posting content every other week as far as episodes for news and updates, what's going on, and then of course when we get the new content for Hot Wheels, I'll be uploading those as well. So guys, keep it locked. This is the Daily G Show. Stay tuned. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace.